Welcome this morning for our units, Elements of Human Resource Management. Today we will be focusing on placement and induction. Just a confirmation, did we finish, did we touch on selection process in our previous class? If we finished it, the better, so that we move to something else. And something else here, I mean wow, you didn't attend the previous class. And the others are not here. I can confirm. Let me confirm that. So I see we had a class last week. I'm not sure. Dahir, good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Is this your first class?
Yes, this is my first class.
Okay. Manti, good morning. Manti, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Please confirm that we did selection in our last class.
Yes, we did.
We did selection, eh?
Yep.
Okay, so today we then move to placement and induction. All right, so then let me do a review of what we did last time. Selection is very important, and each and every organization has to ensure that they do proper selection. In our selection, we talked about the selection process. Another selection process, we looked at the selection process. We looked at the preliminary interview. After preliminary interview, we discussed the application form or application blank, and I believe the illustrations we used were well enough for us. Then the other one we did is the interviews. We have different types of interviews, which I'm sure we looked at. And again, there is also the selection tests. After the selection test, we have physical or medical examination. Then there is checking of references, and references are very important. The referees are very critical. In each and every organization, it should be given the focus it deserves. Sure, I used a certain sample of that was it in the other class where I used a video? Was it in this class which I used the video? For those who attended, monthly, was it here that I used a video which I shared?
No.
Did I share a video in our last class?
No.
Okay. Let me see if I can share that. Okay, I will do a combination of placement and induction with selection. So I will do that comparison or a combination. Looking at our case here, we have gone through recruitment, we have gone through selection, and now after we are done with selection, then the option that is remaining is placement and induction. Now, in the entire recruitment process or selection process, we mentioned various methods. Like if you look at interviews, we talked about one-on-one interview, and in one-on-one interview, the employee is engaged with either the human resource manager or the to-be supervisor. So the person who is going to be your supervisor or the head of department or the assistant human resource manager could be the one who is engaging you in the process. That is one-on-one interview. At the same time, we have got panel interview. Whenever you're looking for an opportunity for employment, please remember that you can go for any kind of interview. Any form of interview is inevitable. You can go through one-on-one, you can go through panel. A panel interview has got more than two interviewers or panelists in this case, and they will ask you questions randomly or depending on how they had prepared themselves. It's you to respond to the questions in the right way. And remember always, there are some questions that may not have the correct or specific answer. So prepare for any form of interview. It could be one-on-one, it could be panel, it could be even stress interview. Purely these people would want you to go under stress. Some of the jobs that you find ourselves in are full of stress. Just imagining the electoral commissioner in the courts, the IEBC, like in Kenya, the Supreme Court, especially when it comes to elections. These people are not at ease. You're doing elections for the entire country. Like in Kenya, you have the governors, the senators, the women reps, the MCAs, members of parliament. We have so much to do. So it has got much to be figured or looked into or looked at. And this is very critical for us. And moving on, even in the interviews, you would find that the stress itself would make an individual be in a position that they feel like it's too much pressure. I will not proceed with this or whatever it is. So at the end of it, before you pick up this job, you must be made aware that you are going into a territory that is not going to make you be comfortable. Everyone has their interest and they want their interest to carry the day. If you look at Malawi, you find the Supreme Court also decides to turn the presidential elections and this denies the president the opportunity to lead. And when the elections rerun is done, then again the president loses. Think about it. Who would want to overturn the president's win? So this is something that is very key for us, even as we move on. And it is all about the interviews. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Manti. Now we are on the same page now. Thank you for that. At least in the interview, I gave that sample. I'll give another sample. Give another sample. You can remind me to share a sample towards the end of the session, to share a video towards the end of the session to understand. Maybe I would have 2 videos to share. I would see which one to share for us to understand what we are learning. So the stress interview, we also talked about telephone interview. We just want to know your telephone skills. Some of us, when you call them, they have got media, or I don't know that to say, it's an uncouth way of responding to things. So instead of responding, I've just called you. Like, remember today morning, I was calling customer care Safaricom for someone who had a problem with the phone. I called the first time, the second time, and as they were getting to receive, the person got a breakthrough, the one I wanted to assist, and I ended the call, though they didn't receive. So after some minutes, they called me, and they introduced themselves very well with their number 072200 all through. But then I remember another one who calls, and they want to talk nice in some Kiswahili, which is not professional, and you can get the two and say this is professional, this is not professional. So sometimes when you communicate on phone, even when someone called you, do you have and you didn't receive the call, you missed the call, do you call back? Some of us don't call back. Some of us respond by please call me. You know, the telephone etiquette, or the phone etiquette, is very important. You're going to be working in phone-related area. You're going to be a customer service person. How would you expect someone from Safaricom, Airtel, and the rest calling you and behaving? You have to expect them to be professionals. So when you're recruiting them, then they must be professionals at the same time. We also have group interview, just to know how you interact in groups. Some of us also are poor in group work. They could be introverts, or there are some of us who are extroverts. They do very well. Put them in a group, and everyone has confidence in them. They are made to be the leaders. They become the chair, become the secretary. So that is important. Now, when you move from those interviews, you could have structured interview, well structured with the right questions, but the unstructured one also differs. And please remember, like the case of the question, tell us about yourself. For those who attended the class, it's only Monty who attended. Joan, did you attend our class last week? Joan, I don't think you attended. So it's only Monty who attended our class. Oh, it's okay, Joan. Monty, is there something you captured in the video that you would want to share with us? That's something you didn't know, or something you learned? If you can use your microphone, we could move faster. If your background is fine, but if not, you can type. If I'm still having Monty and Jacqueline, welcome. Jacqueline, good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you are fine.
Yes, I am.
I'm sorry, last week I remember I ended the class when you were typing, if I'm not wrong. I'm thinking so. I ended the call when you were typing. I don't know what you are typing, but just to find out, you listened to the video last week, did you? On
Yes.
interviews after. Is there anything that you learned that you'd want to share with us? Maybe something that you didn't know, or you knew, but you brought it was brought in a different perspective. If there is, maybe if you can share with us, Jacqueline, as we move on. Something that challenged you.
I learned how you're supposed to answer interview questions.
Mm-hmm. So if you ask you, to tell us about yourself, you say, I'm Jacqueline Kendi. I'm the last born in our family. I'm grateful to God my family loves me, and I know if I get this job, I will live the life of our family, and especially with COVID-19, they'll feel better. Will that be the best approach? Tell us about yourself, Jacqueline.
No, you're supposed to talk about your career.
Yes, so that is very important. You're supposed to talk about your career. You're supposed to talk about um, your professional qualifications in relation to the job in place. So you see that person giving that bit of example. The person says that I have done this course, I have worked in this organization, and the person would proceed and relate the organization. You know, if I'm going to be a driver, I would tell them I've done this course, I got my KCSE in this year, I worked in this company as salesperson or a messenger, then I was promoted to be a driver. Today, currently, I'm a senior driver. I'm familiar with Nairobi, Langata, Westlands. I've been in Dandora, I've been in Westlands, Kilimani, Kibera. I know all the routes, Madaraka, moved to even beyond Nairobi. Go take us outside Nairobi. Let us know Utawala. Let's know Kajiado, Ngong. I've been in this company, in this building. So I'm familiar. You know, when someone is going to make you be the driver, they expect you to know the areas that you're going to be moving from, even if it is within Kenya. So that gives us a very critical background that is is important. So that was critical. I want to see what Amanda was giving us there so that we review as we proceed to something else. But Amanda is taking a long time. As soon as she's done, we will move forward. So that is just a bit of it. I wish you are there, but because you are not there, it's fine. We can always share a review. That's what I'm doing right now. So let me move on to the next, which we looked at references, the referees, and I gave an example of an application form, I believe so, on the Public Service Commission, the kind of form they need, and even what you fill in application form, and the references. There should be people who know you very well, and they should know you professionally. Not just a matter of knowing you, but professionally. So you should not use your parents, you should not use your brothers or close relatives, unless they have known you professionally, and don't use all of them. And sometimes you're challenged, don't use their names, the same names you have and their same name. So Victor Otieno and then the other person is somebody Otieno. Sometimes it brings lots of questions. But it doesn't mean that now you go and change the names. No, that should not be the case. Then after that, we move to the point where you're given an appointment letter. The appointment letter is very important. That is when you are confirmed that you have gone through the whole process successfully and you qualify for the job. You are given the letter, you will have options. I don't know, John. Let me get in touch with John because John was at work. John could
Yeah,
be.
I'm home today.
John, how are you?
I'm good. Mwalimu, how are you?
I'm fine. It's good to see you. Are you at work today also?
No. Today I'm at home.
All right, then you have the liberty to enjoy our class together with the rest.
Yes.
And let's learn from you. Would you tell us something about appointment letter? I don't want to dominate and say everything because you've been working. I know I've ambushed you. I didn't prepare you. What would you tell us? What do I expect if I'm told come and pick your appointment letter or letter of offer?
This of course is when you have passed the interview, so you're given the you're given the work. I mean, like you're being appointed to join the organization. That's when you're given the offer letter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So when you're told to come for your offer letter, of course you'll know that you've been employed, you've been hired.
What should I expect in the letter of offer, if I may go ahead and ask you?
In the letter of offer, it will show you first. It will show you that okay, we are pleased to invite you. I mean, to welcome you to join. I mean, to invite you to join. Then it will give you the salary which you have. It will indicate the salary which you have agreed. It will give you all the benefits. The letter will show all the benefits. What it will it will tell you that you'll be on probation for this kind of time. Then from there, it will tell you that you'll be reporting to who, you're in which department, and you're going to be reporting who will be your immediate supervisor. And then over and above that, it will give you all the rules and regulation of the institution, what you're supposed to adhere to.
Very right. Thank you so much, Joanne. Thank you, Joanne. It's good to have you here. Who else is working and has more information to give on letter of offer? Or who else has this information? You may not be working, but you're aware or you worked before, so that I don't leave someone out who has an idea. Anyone? I know this class, most of them are working. So anyone else who may have an idea of what a letter of offer is? Seems there's no one, but if you are willing, you can interrupt. I will allow you to talk or to share. Maybe you can type also. So maybe something that I wanted to emphasize on is that the letter of offer also has got the job title. So the position you are going to, you've been shortlisted for. Remember, you may have applied for different positions and then they pick you for only one. I've seen cases where someone is applying for chair of land commission and also a member of the land commission. So you could be applying for the chair because you feel you qualify to be the chair. At the same time, you're applying for being a member. So whichever comes, fine, they can invite you for all of them. Or there are many positions. Maybe they are all HR. There's human resource assistant, human resource officer 1, human resource officer 2. You feel you qualified in all of them, then they invite you for an interview. So that is also possible. And remember, this happens when you go through the entire process. You started with recruitment, you went to selection, now we're getting to the last part where now we are confirming to you that you qualified for the job. As mentioned, there is a salary, well-mentioned regulations, the person you're reporting to, very critical. The duties may not be so much attached there at that time. Maybe that would be given later, or they can give another attachment for duties. And again, another question could be, you've gone through the whole process. In fact, you're even told, you'd find there's a date it was written, the letter was written, there's a date in which you are told to confirm that you are accepting the job, and then there's a date that is given for you to report. So there are dates, 3 dates. The date it is written, the letter is written, then again the next date is when you should confirm, accept or decline, and then there's a date for you to report. Those should be very clear. And then there is somewhere for you to sign that you've accepted or you've declined. They give you a timeline also, what time you should confirm. If it doesn't reach them, the confirmation doesn't reach them, they'll assume that you are not interested in the job. And the question again is, why would someone refuse to pick up a job after going through the whole process of recruitment and selection? You've gone through the whole process, you're given the job, and then you decide and say, you decline the job, or you will fail to respond to them. What would be some of the reasons?
One of the reasons is that you could get a counter offer from where you are working. You know, they ask you, how much are you getting from where you're going? We'll give you more than that. Yeah. A counter offer, the place where you're currently working. Yeah.
Right. Ken Mugendi, are you with us? Ethan? Jacqueline?
Yes, I am.
Could you give us any other reason why
Yeah,
someone would reject?
I would like to ask Joanna a question.
Okay. Joan, are you
Why would you tell your current employer that you're getting a new job?
You see, in how you tell them, Ken, is of course you'll give a resignation letter where you are working, yeah? So the minute you give a resignation, and if you're good an employee, of course they will call you and ask you, why are you leaving? Like, I know where I was before. When I gave my resignation letter, the chairman called me and asked me, "Where are you going, Hilda?" And depending on because of how I related with him and his position being the chairman of the institution, I opened up and I told him, "I'm going to such a place. And the reason why I'm going is because I want to grow." So he asked me, "How much are you getting?" I can double that. I mean, I can give, not per se doubling, but I can give you more than that. I can match and give you slightly more. And I told him, "No, the issue is not money, but I want to change." So that's the reason why you open up, because you're going to give a resignation letter, won't you?
Yeah, but only if you are a good employee.
That's what I've said. I had worked well and I had very good relationship with my previous employers, so that they actually offered me, even the CEO offered me, to be a higher position than what I was. But I did not.
But it's not
Say,
about to tell them that you are going to get another job, right?
you don't have to, but the minute you resign, every employer will want to know, are you going to pursue another, are you going to another employment? Are you going to back to school? Are you relocating? That's the reason why they'll ask you. If you're a good employee, as I said, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very great. Thank you, Joanne and Ken and the rest. I hope you are following. It is practical, and let me emphasize that whenever you're leaving an employer, live in good terms. Don't assume. You see, sometimes we are told you even bite the fingers that feed us. Like children, when we have been fed by our mothers and we are satisfied, you start biting the is it the nipple or whatever, the breast that fed you. I don't know that I've used the right term. And ladies will understand if I didn't use the right term, of men who understand. Sometimes we assume it. Remember the day you went looking for a job, for those who have looked for a job, and you are so humbled, you are down to earth, you are like, this is my entire life. But after getting the job and staying there for a while, you forget. We easily forget. It is important that when you are leaving an organization, leave professionally, just like you joined professionally. Give a resignation letter, give notice, and that notice is very important. So when that has happened, then the next thing is the employer would call you for an exit interview. That is the time you open up and tell them. And I like the case where Johan was saying she's not interested in money, she's interested in growing. Some of us are just after growing. You don't remain stagnant forever in your career. But some are just money. So when they talk with you, maybe it would be that you are leaving because your supervisor is difficult to deal with, and maybe others will be following in departure. So to prevent that, they can deal with the supervisor or talk to you people and sort out the matter. So it's important that you talk about it. It's good to tell the employer you're leaving, give notice. You may not want to give the exact reason, but the other reasons you can give. If it is for further studies, because you're going for further studies, and maybe when you come back, you may still want that work. And by the way, there are those who have left organizations and joined later. If you left in bad note, then they cannot accept you back. But if you left on a good note, they'll be fine with you. So that is why it's important that you give notice. And then when they invite you for exit interview, give them the true picture of the organization. They may ask you what challenges, what have you enjoyed in your company? What have you experienced as a challenge? How do you think we can improve? Those are the moments you feel very free and share, because you feel like you are secure as you go out. So when you leave again, they give you a letter. Remember, they give you a letter that confirms that you worked there. So when you go to another job or looking for a job somewhere else, they may ask you, where is the evidence that you worked there and you are discharged? If you don't have the letter, they feel maybe you are dismissed. So let us build our careers as we move on. Let us not just be after looking for money or getting more salary or more salary. No. You've seen it even in the media. There's someone leaves, people like K24, Jeff Kwenang, people like Rubadiri, people like, who else? I remember very well. People like, I'm forgetting the names, but people, even the lady who left
Hussein
it,
Mohammed.
the Mohammed Hussein, just in the media industry, thank you for that. They have been leaving and moving to another one, but you live in good note because someone leaves this institution, goes back, leaves, goes to this, and later is taken back. It is important that you live on a positive note, and it happens in many other organizations. So the reasons why you leave, you don't take up the job is that you may have gotten a better offer elsewhere. So you just tell the employer, but the way some employers are good, they may also realize that you are so good to them and they have wasted you. So instead of letting you go, they may decide to increase your salary. And some of the employees say it's better the devil I know than the angel I've not seen. If I've had no issues with the employer, I would still have accept their better offer because you may go out there and you find the offer they are providing may not have give a very much big difference. So that would be then fine for you to remain. You may refuse because of family reasons. Some of us value their families for your information. There are those who cannot stay 1 week away from their family. So, or 1 month from the family. Or it could be a job that involves you to travel a lot, or requires you to travel a lot. You may not be interested in traveling a lot because it is going to give you a lot of inconvenience. And by the way, there are people who are refused employment because of traveling. There are those who have refused employment because of separation from family. Someone is separating in Mombasa and their wife is in Marakwet. Maybe he's working in the county assembly. So the person says, no, 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 no. For the sake of my family, I will not accept it. People like Mutunga, when he was being former chief justice, when he was being interviewed for a job, and sometimes you just need to have your stand. He was asked about, I think he was having some, I don't know whether you call them stud for men, and he was asked between this and your job, which one would you go for? If you ask you to remove it and take up the job, or we don't give you the job but it remains. Some things, and someone would ask himself or herself, what is it in that? And he says, I have your job, I will remain with it. How would we stand? I know we may not have reached that level, some of us, where you would have that stand, but there are those who have built their career because they knew what they wanted. People like Maraga, he was very categorical. You want me to work on Saturday, my Sabbath, then I'm not going to take up the job. Keep your job. At this stage, you must be wise enough to go through it. But that is the whole situation in panel, in the interviews, and there's so much we can talk about interviews. The letter of offer, you can refuse the letter. You can refuse the job because the salary. Maybe you discuss the salary during interview, and then what they disclose or give you later may not be satisfactory to you, so you refuse. You could refuse because of maybe some circumstances that have changed. Maybe your health has changed since you went for interviews. But there's some interviews, some letter of offer can come even after 1 year, and things change. Or maybe you decided to just be on your own self-employment. And you could refuse again because of locations, job locations. Yeah, there are people who refuse some jobs because they are posted in some areas where they perceive the weather may not be comfortable, it's too hot, or maybe it's too cold for them, and their health may not warrant that, or it's just insecure. We've seen teachers who are even refusing jobs in some areas where every other time there's bombing and they are attacked by the militias, and many others. So there are many reasons why an individual may refuse some jobs. Um, And therefore, when you've done that, gone through that, then there's what we call placement. There's placement. Now, placement, um, I don't know whether maybe someone has a comment or question as I go to placement. Always feel free to share. In this case, always feel free to even interact with your colleagues.
Yes,
Because
I have a question.
Yes.
What do you mean by growing if you're not growing in terms of money?
It's asking, what do you mean by growing if it is not in terms of money? Is there someone who wants to respond?
Career-wise, you can grow career-wise, assuming, Ken, where you are working, currently you're just in one department, yeah, and you have where you're going, you have been promised maybe a more involving, more responsibilities. You get, maybe here you're working as let me use credit. Maybe you're in credit department where you're just a credit officer. And now you have the new job which you're getting, you're going to be a credit relationship manager, so that is a career growth. You might here, the aspect is you might not even look at the money, like if you're doubling or tripling your salary, but you're looking at that career growth. I don't know whether I've answered you. Him well, Mwalimu.
And maybe just to add, apart from growing, there's the growing even in the career, as she mentioned, the career-wise. You don't have to remain as an accountant forever. People are growing. Your colleagues whom you studied with are becoming even CEOs. You are still like an accountant. The employer does not have an opportunity for you to grow, or it's just the organization that has got no opportunities to grow. So it becomes a challenge. You've grown, you've done your best, but there's no opportunity. Maybe you find the CEO is the owner of the place. How will you replace the owner? And he's not willing to go. And maybe the manager is the cousin. Then the other, you find you can't grow, so you can just leave, go to another organization where there are opportunities. Especially if you go in some private sector or even government, you go and there is even the career progression route. They have even how people grow. So you don't have to remain in the same level. And, when you're given opportunities to even advance yourself, think of a case where you're working and the employer doesn't allow you to go to class. Do you know, I had students who, in fact, some of us are complaining of online classes we are having now. Do you know there are those who are very happy with these online classes? They could not be given even off by their employers. In fact, there's a student of mine whom the employer told, I can't allow you to go do exams. I will only allow you to leave at 3. And exams are being done from 8. So the student could only do exams that were starting in the afternoon. And he would come, tell us in advance and come late, and we excuse the student to do just one paper. So if such an employer, even if you have your master's and PhD, you're still in the same level, and that would not be fair. So that growth is very important. It's not just money alone. I know there are those who are motivated by money as a way of growing anyway, that's fine, but you can grow in many other ways. Some even allow you to grow even health-wise. You have got a gym, you can go there, you have sports, a field, even somewhere they preserve for you, it's even swimming pool, whatever, you are wholesome, you have groups you are interacting with, you are free, you are allowed to join the informal groups. So growing is wholesome as an individual. Even growing, you have even places of worship, you would go and have your 5 minutes meditation with God. So the growth is very wide, and wholesome is not just money. I know many believe that money is the only source of motivator, but I can tell you it's not only money. There's so much in terms of growth. Even an employer who trains you, gives you on-the-job training, that's the best employer to have. So that was key. I hope Mugendi you are answered, and any other person may have had the same concern. All right, so placement. When you've done all this, the next thing that happens is placement. Thank you, Mugendi, for the response. This placement. Placement involves matching employees' qualifications with the right job. You match employees' qualifications, experience with the right job. If I have done diploma in accounting, then I can only be in accounting related job. If I have done human resource management, you do not take me to be a chef. You don't let me be a sales and marketing person. It will be difficult for me to fit. And that's why some asks you, why do you want the job? Why should we recruit you? Can you tell us why? What experience do you have? And especially in that area. So placement is very important. We just put you in the right job so that you can perform your job. The process of assigning a specific job to each of the selected candidates. Just assigning. or matching the requirements of a job with the qualifications of the candidates. Now, the placement and induction are different. Induction is the process of, it's the same as orientation, receiving and welcoming. Receiving and welcoming employees, new employees in the organization when they join so that they can be comfortable, they can relax, they can start getting used to the environment, and therefore they will be in a position to discharge their duties without any fear. You should always remember when you are new in an environment, even in this good environment we are learning in the portal, there are those who are still not yet there. There are those who are struggling. In fact, there are those of us who are here, I'm sure, struggled with logging in, even after being taken through induction online, being told how to do it. They struggled. They couldn't. I remember some were even sending their uh, username and password for us to log them in. So it is the change. And later when you realize that it was that simple, you are like, oh, I didn't know. How did this happen? It's all about induction. So placement, you just match the qualifications of an individual with the right job, while induction is the process of making an individual be familiar with the job. And this will involve a lot in itself, though the objective will be one, to help a newcomer to overcome shyness and shyness which comes with meeting new people in a new environment. Remember the first time you joined our institution, for those who joined, and you were very new, you were worried how things operate, you're very shy. For those of us who are shy, even when you go to a new job, you automatically meeting new people. So that shyness will be there. Some it will take long, others within a short period of time, they will have gotten used to the job. So the new environment, you need to overcome the challenges as soon as possible to not prevent you from discharging your duties. It also helps to reduce confusions and develop healthy relations with the organization. When you're new, you go to a place, you don't even know where washrooms are, you don't know when breaks are done, so the timings needs to be made clear for you. The supervisors, the tools, the equipment you'll be using. Again, it helps develop newcomers, develop among the newcomers a sense of belonging and loyalty to the organization. You feel you belong. At least I know this, and that, so I belong to this organization. If you have one driving, you know where your parking is. You know that parking is free or is paid for, so that you don't park and then later you find your vehicle has been clamped by the city county or Nairobi City County. It discourages. Imagine the first day you park there, you thought it is for the organization. Later, when you go back, you are harassed by the county government officials. It is not right. Reducing issues of labor turnover and absenteeism. There are times when things are not clear. Imagine the first time I have you in my class and I've given 5 pages of notes and I'm dictating like no other person. That's the first thing I do. We came to learn, so we're doing elements of EHRM. Let's start writing. And you write and write. I have not given you my name, have not mentioned my name, done my introduction very well, no name, course outline. In fact, my first class, I don't do much. I ensure we do proper introduction and make things be right so that when we study, we are in agreement. Things are done the right way. When someone visits with you, you don't just take them to all the tasks. Even in Nairobi, I know we are very busy. But the first time someone visits, invite them, welcome them, let them relax. They may not do the chores in the house. The second day, you start adjusting. The third day, next time tell them this is Nairobi. No more sitting, find something to do. If you are to make them do something, let them start. So this is very important. Even if you travel home and you find people going to the shamba, they may not go with you to the shamba that same day. They'll tell you relax. The second day, maybe now they start adjusting. The next day, now you are one of them. Go to the shamba. So it's important. The first impression you give to somebody matters a lot. It matters a lot. It tells a lot about you and your organization. Do you have rest periods? Do you have the cafe? And that's why I'm just giving a summary of placement and induction. If you look at the contents of placement and induction, there should be a brief history and operations of the company. Tell us something about the company. When did you start? Who are who are the initiators or the founders? Um, tell us about the progress. How have you been operating? Which kind of a company are you? Which services are you offering? Because it would be unfortunate that you work for a company that you don't understand yourself. I've gotten a job and thank God, and this is our company. Oh, what does your company do? Oh, I'm yet to know. I just went there and we just seated there, nothing much. So I still don't know. You will be losing an opportunity to even sell your product to your customers. So get to know brief history and operations, the company's organization structure, who's on top in our company. You know, there's a vice chancellor on top, there's DVC, academic for our case. So there are the DVCs, then there's the dean or the registrar, the assistant or deputy registrar. Then you move down to the dean of faculty, then the head of department, then you come to us. So even if there's a problem that I can't help you, then you know how to navigate. You move to the next person, next and next until you get sorted. The policies and procedures of the company. What are the procedures? What are the policies that I don't go against them? The products and services. What are they offering? It will be unfortunate when you ask me, because I know you from here you want to move to diploma, and you ask Malim, would you advise me which course to do? Oh, I was thinking about this and that. Do you have them at ZTEC? Oh, all right, fine. I will find out. It tells you something that there's some disconnect with me somewhere. But when I know, I tell you this one, when you go for bachelor, we have BCom, we have BBAM, and from there we have masters, and then you'll be like, oh, there's some confidence. But if I'm telling you something and I've got no confidence, I don't think you buy into my ideas. Location of departments and employee facilities. Where are the departments located? Do we have specific department in specific location? Where are the head offices? Which branch will I be? What are the facilities that are available? Do you provide us with laptop? Or do you provide us with cars? Whatever it is you're providing, badges and the rest, safety measures or health and safety issues. Where are the fire exits? Is there fire assembly points? What about fire extinguishers? Do I even know how to operate them? Grievance procedures. I may not be satisfied with some decisions. Do I just hit somebody? We don't allow fighting in organizations. So when there's a grievance, where do you go to? How do you start? What are benefits that are offered by the employer to employees? When I finish employment here, would I gain something? Okay, standing orders and disciplinary procedures. Yes, when there's issue of discipline, maybe first verbal warning, written warning, or first written warning, second one or final one, depending on the organization, and then you are dismissed. Then you have opportunities for training, promotions, and transfer. Are they there? So you'll be told you can train free of charge, or we allow you to go for studies not more than 2 weeks, or you can take 1 year off, 3 years, we pay 70%, we don't pay. Make those be clear, the rules and regulations. Let them know timings. When am I supposed to report to work? Some companies, 2 minutes delay, dismissal. 2 minutes. Especially some in industrial area, I know people. Those people close the door. 2 minutes delay. It's not like others. You can get to an organization 30 minutes late and nothing happens. No, that is not the case. So it is important that you know that failure to observe time without valid reasons warrants dismissal. And then suggestion schemes and many others. So this is all about induction, which sometimes we refer to as orientation. What's got a question or comment on induction? I have done the summary bit of it. I know there is much for me to cover, but that is all, because from there, just maybe to take it there, you'd find the benefits. It supplies the information about the nature of work, conditions of service and welfare facilities. It's helpful in supplying information concerning the organization, the job, and the employee welfare facilities. It reduces grievances, absenteeism, and labor turnover. That's very important. Proper introduction for my class. Even if I don't do much, my students will want to attend that class and attend another one. But if I start badly or poorly, that one, I don't think I would go. I will not go for that class. Or you are reluctant, but see, when there's proper setting, you want more of that session. So that is what I mean by that. in induction. Let me see if there's a comment or question. If there isn't, I wanted to share something. If there's a question, feel free to ask. I want to share something on placement and induction. Okay, I'm sharing the YouTube link. Okay, so anyone wants a comment? I see Egal is typing. Sharing some video. You will follow it. This is on placement. So that is all about our session for today. You can think about those areas that has been highlighted. I would end it there. If there is no question or comment from us, it was brief on that. Maybe next time I'll share something on email and application letter, or applying for a job through email and cover letter, so that we discuss it further. Any comment or question for today's session? Egal, this I can still share, but I'm sorry I had intended to share it here. I'm not sure whether it was a concern because it took some time to post it, but it has to take time because of the link, sharing of the link. Thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you so much, everyone. We will end the session today. At that point, if someone has a question or comment, you still can post in the next 1 minute. But those who are done, you can exit so that we go to the portal and do the tasks that you'll find there. Shortly, I'll post them. If you have any view on the same of onboarding and induction is the same thing here. It's the same thing. I know there was the issues of tax and the rest. That's why I prefer using the Kenyan background, where we have the NSSF, NHIF, tax, the KRP. That's generally what was being discussed. Yes, you will. You'll see the records. In terms of your attendance of class, yes, you'll find have all of them, including the one for today I've taken. So I'm just updating it shortly. All right, so we ended there. Okay. Welcome and have a blessed day, everyone.